Well, it can happen. It's all depend on, did he have everything on that he supposed to have on? Before they hit you in your eyes, it hit the pass.
My name is guy Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
20.
Yeah, 20 years. I think Itauma have big future.
I keep getting asked about young Moses Itauma, and my opinion is not someone who don't know boxing. My opinion is someone who has been there and won every single belt, won everything there is to win in boxing, and done very well. Boxing is a young man's game. Like I told Vladimir Klitschko when he was 37, boxing's a young man's game and he waits for nobody. So here's the opinion, you've heard it here first. Moses Itauma will wreck all them old men out of the division.
He's a big favourite to go in and just do this. There's almost this kind of feeling that all he has to do is rock up and just collect his belt. He's just got this Croatian fella in the way. Just move him out of the way. Go and get your belt. Go and make history. It's the same venue that Anthony Joshua became world heavyweight champion 10 years ago. IBF world heavyweight champion as well. It's all just there.
Hrgovic in 7.
Hrgovic in 7.
Is that the way it goes against Moses Itauma?
Yeah, Devo says already.
Itauma stops him, yeah.
I always thought Hrgovic was a world-class operator in the heavyweight division.
That is such a banger, such a powerful, strong, explosive puncher. And I watched this kid and I went, wow, where the hell did he come out of?
Offensive heavyweight in the world. He throws 1,000 punches a fight. And Moses Itauma is untested. He looks like a...
Across the heavyweight landscape, many already see Moses Itauma as the next Mike Tyson, yet experienced figures within boxing are quietly expressing serious concerns. His matchup with Filip Hrgović represents far more than a routine increase in opposition. It could be a carefully constructed test designed to expose him. While British promotion presents the bout as the arrival of a future undisputed champion, some trainers, analysts, and former world champions reportedly believe the 21-year-old prospect may have entered a dangerous situation capable of disrupting his career before it truly gets underway.
I have great endurance. I throw a lot of punches. I'm hard-hitting guy. I have great chin. You know, I have great ring generalship. I see all the punches where they're coming from, and I think he will not be able to connect so much punches on myself like he did against White and Franklin. And I'm fast on feet, you know, and that's gonna give him a lot of troubles as well. And I can put a lot of pressure on him, you know, throw a lot of punches, and I'm not gonna get tired. And I think I'll be too much for him.
Itauma's record explains why so many casual viewers have become captivated by him. He overwhelms opponents with ferocious attacks, unleashes powerful southpaw combinations, and often ends contests before viewers even get a chance to see a replay. Yet that level of dominance can hide important unanswered questions. Itauma has not yet experienced the impact of a genuine heavyweight punch landing cleanly on his chin. He has never dealt with an early broken nose, a severe cut affecting his vision, or the mental pressure of giving everything to a punch while watching his opponent absorb it and continue moving forward.
He's not tested yet. He never received a good punch. He never went, you know, in deep rounds, in late rounds. So no, you know, he's a big puncher, but no one ever knocked me out. Never in my life. Dubois was stopped on a doctor. So I have a great chin. You know, I'm durable. I throw a lot of punches. So I think I can give him, you know, big challenge.
I mean, he's right. Like, he's got a chin. He's never been knocked out. I ain't never been tested. Everything he's saying there is correct. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Jermaine Franklin was never knocked out. You are a complete different fighter to Jermaine Franklin, of course. It's like you said that, didn't it? It's all right if he has a hard punch, but can he land, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Filip Hrgović may represent one of the most difficult styles imaginable for a young knockout specialist who has yet to face this level of resistance. The Croatian Olympic medalist has already competed against several of the division's biggest punchers and absorbed their hardest attacks without showing panic. Rather than rushing when opponents unleash combinations, Hrgovic relies on a compact high guard, lets his arms take the punishment, and waits until their opening surge begins to disappear. For a fighter whose plan depends heavily on ending the contest within 2 rounds, confronting someone who refuses to break can become an enormous mental challenge.
Frazier is a good fighter, but he seems to be a crossroad kind of guy. He can be very good or he can be very bad. And when you think that, okay, he's making a charge and he's the man, he falls apart. He's been at that since he's an amateur. You know? I remember watching him for AJ, and AJ just blew him out. Just literally just stomped him out. I think they fought 2 or 3 times. AJ just stomped him out, you know, and he was doing good. So I don't know, Frazier seemed to be, one stage he was calling for me and calling my name and calling this guy and calling that guy.
Yeah, I remember.
Then he got humbled, and then now you don't really, now he's just quiet. You know, so I don't know, it seems to be, he's got all the marbles, but not, I don't know. So Frazier seems like he's a good fighter, but he seems a bit soft as well. Not in a bad way, it just seems like he's soft sometimes.
The biggest threat in Hrgovic's corner may be the presence of renowned trainer Abel Sanchez. His reputation was built by developing relentless fighters who use constant pressure and physical wear to dismantle talented, explosive opponents. The strategy being prepared for this matchup is straightforward. Force the 19-year-old away from his preferred range, make every clinch demanding, and attack the body with heavy hooks. Sanchez understands that young punchers often depend on explosive muscle fibers that consume energy quickly, so the plan is to make Itauma repeatedly carry Hrgovic's considerable weight during inside exchanges. The veteran camp intends to have the teenager's legs feeling heavy by the 4th round.
The talk is he's going to fight Moses Itauma in August. That could be the toughest fight in the heavyweight division at the moment. What's your thoughts on Hrgovic Itauma?
I think that's the toughest fight for everybody in the division right now. He's a young up-and-coming. He hasn't fought anybody really in the top 10, but he looks destructive in against the guys that he fights. Hasn't been signed, so until that gets signed, you know, there's no really any reason to predict what would happen or what might happen. Until that gets signed, we'll figure that out.
You've been impressed by Moses so far?
Well, absolutely. He's a young Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was doing the same thing when he came up until he met somebody that wasn't afraid of him, and Filip wouldn't be afraid of him if he fought.
Reports circulating through top gyms across Britain and Eastern Europe paint a much different picture than the confident promotional interviews. Stories from intense sparring sessions suggest that Itauma's defensive structure can begin to deteriorate when he is taken into demanding later rounds against rugged veterans such as Mario. According to those accounts, the teenager struggled when an early stoppage failed to arrive, absorbing damaging counters while trapped along the ropes and exposing a significant weakness. Whenever Itauma loses control of the center, his timing reportedly becomes disrupted and his ability to reset slows to a dangerous degree.
There's nothing much he can't do offensively. Now defensively, I don't think he's as good as, I don't think he's there yet. I would say, I think that's probably the best way of putting it. I don't think he's there yet. Now people asked about the obvious Usyk, Fury, Joshua. Do I think he beats Usyk right now? I don't think it's out of the question he beats all of them. He could be that much of a, you know, in want of a better word, you know, a physical freak. He could be that much of a fucking fiend. I mean, he could just beat all of them. He's too fast and too hard and too good for all of them. However, Usyk has to be a favourite against him. Usyk's been there, boxed and beat all of them. I'd make Kabiel a favourite over him. I think Kabiel is that clever. He could weather a storm and beat him. Wardley, I'd make Wardley a favourite. He's a current champion. You have to respect that. And he can certainly whack Wardley, so he's more proven at taking one back. Dubois, on paper, Dubois again has to be the favourite. I think Itauma will beat him. Gassiev can't have crack, but Itauma's a favourite again. Okoli's an interesting one. Okoli can really fight. He's awkward, he's horrible. But Itauma will probably be a favourite. And the interesting ones really are Joshua and Fury, the two best of the generation arguably just about to go. Well, apart from Usyk, that is, I should say. I think at this point he beats them both, but I don't think either of them will.
Hrgovic has used the build-up to question Itauma's credibility, portraying him as a social media creation rather than a genuine world-class danger. For a young fighter accustomed to receiving constant praise, that kind of dismissal can create emotional pressure and encourage unnecessary risks. If Itauma steps through the ropes determined to make a statement and force an early highlight reel stoppage, he could be following the exact path Hrgovic wants. Throwing too aggressively against a counterpuncher who excels at timing impatient opponents with compact right hands over the jab could quickly turn a confident performance into a disastrous one.
Let's be honest, it's really only Zhilei Zhang and Daniel Dubois that separate their CVs. And only one of those fights was a win for Filip Hrgović. Arguably, he didn't actually win the Zhang fight as well. You could chuck Joe Joyce in there if you wanted to, but at this stage of his career, I don't think there's a giant difference between that win and the Dillian Whyte win for Moses Itauma. I mean, I would say that Joyce has more left than Whyte did at that point in his career, but I'm just saying that it's not like it's an astronomical difference. Hrgovic has been doing it longer. He's been finding it harder to get the right fights and be put into the right positions. I completely understand his point in that sense. You can't say that Itauma deserves any of those ranking slots based on what he's done so far in his professional career. He just doesn't. Maybe you could argue he's a top 15 fighter, maybe just scrape into the top 10. But I think Hrgovic is essentially saying that he's a bit of a spoiled brat, in the sense of he's been given all of this, it's been handed to him. You can't really disagree that it's been handed to him. Yes, he's done everything that's asked of him so far. Yes, I'm sure he trains extremely hard and he's got a fantastic attitude. And yes, I think we can all agree he looks like a brilliant talent, but he's not earned it yet in the ring. So for him to be ranked so highly by these governing bodies, it really speaks to the fact that he has been hyped and promoted well. These governing bodies want Moses Itauma to represent them because he looks so exciting, because he's going to sell so many tickets. It makes sense for them to be favorable towards him in their rankings. They want his sanctioning fees. He is going to do very well for himself commercially. Filip Hrgović, being Croatian, being someone who doesn't have the most exciting style, that's just what it is. But in terms of pure achievement, Hrgovic is a bit above Moses Itauma, you have to say that. Definitely in terms of the amateur records, and Itauma's probably 2 or 3 fights away from having a comparable CV to Hrgovic's, I have to say that too. Because whilst Hrgovic has had 7 pro fights more than Moses Itauma has, like I said before, I think there's only a few fights of top quality that actually separate them in the ring. And it's not because Filip Hrgovic hasn't wanted these fights, it's just because, as I said before, they've been hard for him to get. And the fact that they are 13 years apart in age, the fact that they have been pro for quite different amounts of time, Hrgovic has had to really grind his way to this position. It does tell you a story about the sport of boxing. You've got one guy who is, you know, not at the end of his career, but in his best years probably in Filip Hrgovic right now, in his mid-30s, as a heavyweight. You've got Moses Itauma, who's right at the beginning. But he's right, Filip Hrgovic. Itauma simply hasn't had to go through what he's been through to get where he is. He hasn't had to have that amateur career. He hasn't had to have all those achievements. And I'm not blaming Moses Itauma here for anything. It's just the truth of the sport. If you've got hype about you, if people find you exciting, you get pushed faster, you get pushed further. And I can understand why that is frustrating for Filip Hrgovic. But like he says, it will all go away when they get in the ring.
Analysts expect Itauma to start at an explosive pace, firing rapid southpaw combinations designed to energize the audience. Hrgovic, however, is expected to weather that opening attack behind his guard without showing signs of being seriously hurt.
We've not seen Moses in with a fighter of this caliber yet.
That's right. Good
But
point.
the thing we can only go off what we've seen, and he's been perfect so far. You know, with Hrgovic, he's experienced. He's had some big nights, some big names. But what I will say is, he's never come up against anyone like Moses Itauma. And I know we can talk about he's boxed southpaws as an Olympian and this and that. We're talking a different ballgame here. This guy is different.
On the flip side, this is a great matchup for Filip Hrgovic because he's an elite heavy. He's
got nothing to lose.
Heavyweight. You know, and if Moses Itauma. Going into this one, we find out more about him. I'm with you guys. I think Itauma does the job.
You can't write Hrgovic off.
But you cannot write Hrgovic off because we saw levels to the game when he boxed David Adelaide. We saw it when he boxed last time out against yeah, absolutely. So
Dave Allen.
Yeah, Dave Allen. So there's levels to this game, mate, and Filip Hrgovic is that test. People are talking about him just being the opponent there before he goes up Moses Itauma and wins. He's more than an opponent. He's more than an opponent.
He's absolutely more than an opponent. But the point is, he reminds me. Look, I've seen him spar with Dubois when he came into the gym, and like he was so good. And okay, he only done 3 rounds and got out, but still he looked so impressive and you know, Dubois is such a banger, such a powerful, strong, explosive puncher. And I watched this kid and I went, wow, where the hell did he come out of? And he won the world under-19s as an amateur. He is, I'm telling you, Frank got him at the right time because nobody heard about him, and you know, he invested money in him and said, this is the guy to have. And he is the best heavyweight I've seen in a long, long time. And I know Hrgovic is incredibly tough, and there's every chance that I could be eating my words. If he blows out after 6 rounds and Hrgovic is still coming on, Hrgovic could win. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to get him out and going to...
If Itauma has failed to secure the knockout by the 4th round, several experienced trainers expect his explosive offense to decline sharply, creating an opportunity for Hrgovic to establish his jab and bring his powerful right hand into the fight.
What about Moses? Would you believe in all this hype around Moses?
Moses wouldn't go near him at the minute. I think it'd be absolutely insane to throw Moses Itauma into Usyk after not being past... Has he been past 6 yet? Has he been past 7 or 8?
I don't think he...
If you haven't... Well, he definitely hasn't been past 8.
Yeah.
So would you throw a fight into a fight with someone like him? Because his game plan would just be, I've only got to see past 6 rounds with you, kid, and I'm going to take you to a place you've never been.
And that's the media machine, getting people. If I say to everybody, I've seen you fight, I've seen him take about 20 people, then he tells somebody, all of a sudden, you've not had one fight and everybody believes you're a bad man.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though, because he is obviously shit hot. And very, very good.
Moses.
Yeah.
Of course he's very good.
The thing is,
but against who so far?
Yeah, that's
you know, your best win.
That's a fair point.
Your best win is Jermaine Franklin.
Yeah.
Jermaine Franklin's known for the losing.
So, and that's the job as a promoter. The job as a promoter is for us to believe that you are a don.
And that's what Frank does well. You can't knock that. That's one thing Frank Warren does well, and no one can knock that. He builds a fighter really well, and he generates the hype train to a point where there's no going back. That's where Moses is at now.
So out of his fights that he has now, the heavyweights, who would you say his golden goose was? Moses? Daniel?
It's Moses all day.
Okay, so do you think Moses gets through the Hrgovic fight?
Yep.
Do you think he...
I think he gets rid of him inside 6 rounds.
Do you think he puts him in with Daniel?
And then that's what worries me is he gets through the Hrgovic fight and he blows me away in 6 rounds, and then they throw him.
Several analysts expect Hrgovic to transform the bout into a physically exhausting battle, using the clinches to wear Itauma down and targeting his body with repeated punishment until the young fighter's guard begins to deteriorate.
We've forgotten who Filip Hrgovic is. Like, I know in his career there's been performances where maybe he's flattered to deceive, maybe he hasn't looked amazing, but he's a real one. He's a real one. 2015 European gold medalist, 2016 amateur Olympic bronze medalist, 2010 junior gold medalist, like as a youth, same sort of thing that Moses Itauma won. So he's done all of that. He's been through it all. Like some of the guys that he's beaten, amateur and pro, Zhilei Zhang of course, Joe Joyce, Tony Yoka, Joseph Parker, Sergey Kuzmin, all a mix of amateur and pro. He's beaten these guys. He's a winner, right? And as a pro, he's only lost to Daniel Dubois. And I'm sure everyone watching this video has watched that fight. And after the first 4 rounds, you probably didn't think Daniel Dubois was going to win that fight. It looked like a matter of time before Filip Hrgovic was going to win that fight. He was lighting Dubois up. Dubois then got rough and ready with him and started really balled out. He took control of the fight. Used his head a little bit in there as well. Let's not shy away from that. Filip Hrgovic got a cut and Dubois really targeted it, started coming on in the fight, and ultimately the doctor waved it off. Hrgovic didn't go down. He didn't look too hurt or wobbled or anything like that in the fight either. He got stopped on cuts by the doctor. So that's the one loss in Hrgovic's career. It wasn't so long ago this guy was called the boogeyman of the heavyweight division. It wasn't so long ago that he was like the IBF #1 contender and they couldn't find someone to fight him. They were going all the way down the IBF rankings and everyone was just like no, definitely not. No, I'm going to go this way. No, I'll go that way. No, don't need to see him. And eventually Zhilei Zhang was the one who said yes. And that is the best win of Filip Hrgovic's career.
Many neutral fighters share the expectation that Hrgovic will gradually exhaust the young prospect before catching him with a powerful overhand right around the 8th or 9th round, potentially leading to a dramatic stoppage by the referee.
Hrgovic being 33 years old versus Itauma, who's 21, by the time they fight, maybe 22. There's a big difference, and I think the biggest difference is Hrgovic has been asked the questions, and he's given the answers. Not always the right answer, like when he fought Daniel Dubois, but he's been in tough fights. You know, Zhilei Zhang, that was a brutal heavyweight fight, back and forth, stayed tough throughout, showed that his chin could hold up, showed that he had the power, showed that he had the conditioning. You know, he's been there. With Itauma, we don't know any of those answers yet. He hasn't been pushed yet as a pro. He has a very low number of fights as an amateur, very low number of fights in general, amateur and pro. So the question marks are glaring when it comes to Moses Itauma. Yes, the talent is there. Yes, the power is there. The finishing ability is all there. He has all the makeup to be a heavyweight champion and a star at that. But what happens when he gets pushed? What happens when there is pushback, when there is resistance? And I think Hrgovic is the kind of guy that can answer those questions. He's going to put up resistance. He has power. He's big. He's been there. I don't see him as a guy who's just going to get blown out by Itauma. So there are going to be some questions asked of Itauma in this fight. And really, we need those answered to know where he's going to go. And
historians who think Itauma can withstand the pressure believe his best route to victory would require extraordinary discipline over 12 rounds, using movement from the outside while surviving dangerous knockdowns late in the contest before narrowly securing a potentially controversial decision.
Johnny, we've got a huge heavyweight title fight coming up in Moses Itauma against Filip Hrgovic. Talk to me and tell me, how do you see it going?
I think Moses Itauma, too sharp, too smart, too technically astute for him, and too young. I think Hrgovic will give him a few things to think about to improve him as a fighter if he's going to be the heir apparent. So it'll be a learning lessons for him, but I think Moses Itauma beats Hrgovic. If he doesn't go to pit distance, stops him very late.
Do you see Moses getting hurt in the fight at all?
I see questions being answered, which he needs to, and every fight he has from this point onwards needs to be that case if he wants to be a champion and stay a champion. It can't be an easy ride all the way going through, because eventually you're going to come up against somebody that gives you something different and makes you think about what kind of fighter you are. If you get hit, you get hurt, you get wobbled, you get put down. You want this to happen now before you become a champion, because at that time there's too much at stake, and then you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is it, it's over, this should happen to me. So I think this is a good learning fight for Moses.
The heavyweight division remains one of the harshest tests in all of sports. Fitness cannot be disguised, and years of experience inside the ring cannot simply be created overnight. Should Moses Itauma endure this challenge and methodically break down a battle-tested fighter, such as Filip Hrgovic, then comparisons to Mike Tyson would carry real weight. But if the Croatian veteran's durability changes the course of the contest, the boxing world could witness the sport's fastest rising sensation suffer a sudden and brutal setback.
I kind of get nervous when it's like 10 weeks out, because I know I got something to do about it, or I have. I could change the outcome of the fight, but you know when guys might get nervous just before a fight, it's like the training's done, your camp's done, so there's nothing to worry about then.
Hrgovic is a really good opponent, and a danger man of some sort. He's only been stopped and it was uncut by Daniel Dubois. Obviously the most important thing always is the win, but do you want to go and make a statement and get rid of this guy?
Do you know what? It's not really down to me, if I'll be honest. It's like, I know it sounds mad because obviously I'm in there punching, but if I go and stick to the game plan, of course I can get him out of there. So, you know, it's like you just never know, innit? Obviously, if I had to bet my house on it, I'll probably bet a knockout, but, you know, you never know.
I think many... Moses Itauma is stepping toward greatness earlier than expected, but facing a dangerous opponent like Hrgovic leaves almost no room between a breakthrough victory and a career-changing defeat. Who do you think wins this fight? Share your prediction in the comments. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next boxing videos. And make sure to leave your thoughts below. Until next time, stay tuned and we'll see you in the next video.